Greetings, my stay-at-home simpaticos. Today we are going to be taking a look at a brand new figure that just arrived at my doorstep. It is ToyWorld's Beast General, aka ToyWorld's Legends class Beast Megatron, or Transmetal Beast Megatron. So before we get into it, let's take a look at the box. There's not a whole lot going on here. This is a part of the Tactics Waistcoat Beast series. And yeah, Metal Tyrannosaurus Rex. Let's open it up and see what's inside. So the first thing we get are some directions and a little card. Then we've got foam, which I really appreciate the foam. And then we have the figure and its accessories. The figure itself is in robot mode that is slightly mistransformed from the first time that I took him out of the box. And yeah, we'll just put him off to the side for right now. It also comes with this big purple sword. I literally have no idea when he wielded a big purple sword in the show. 2 separate heads, which we'll talk about with the full review. His tail for dinosaur mode, which is actually kind of hard to get out of here. So there we go. And then the piece de resistance. You see what's up there? You see what we got up here? Do you see what we have up here? We have ducks. 2 very tiny little ducks. The first duck is just a rubber ducky. It is very close to the one he had in the show. Very, very close. Very tiny. And then we have a transmetal rubber duck. Oh, this little transmetal rubber duck is so cute. Unfortunately, the transmetal rubber duck, the paint on the transmetal rubber duck is already flaking off. I have only taken it out of the box twice. This review being the second time. And it's already flaking off on my fingers. So be wary of that if you pick this figure up. Another thing to be wary of is that the figure does not have any way to hold the ducks. Sure, you could attempt to move the wrists so that he could kind of hold it like this. But then again, that really doesn't work all that well either. His hands can't hold the ducks at all, which is a shame. In Robot Mode, Beast General works incredibly well as Beast Wars Transmetal Megatron. This is iconic for me. It really, really is. The flake on the paint on the chest is really nice, and I like the look of the figure quite a bit. The overall Robot Mode is just really nice. I'll get into the sigh of what that's about later. It works. It honestly does. It works really well. The only thing that I would call out is I think the paint choice for the actual coloring, the copper coloring, isn't perfect. I would have liked to have seen a more, gold version. Like my buddy Grimlockimus has mentioned, that he feels that the copper isn't quite right or doesn't quite work for Megatron. In hand, it works fine, but I can see where he's coming from. Now to talk about the other accessories. Now, the heads that the figure comes with, we have a smiling evil head, a smiling head, and a frowning head. And they all work fine. They're just fine. The molding on the heads work incredibly well. The paint is good, though I would have liked to have seen, I don't know, maybe some silver or a little bit more coloring difference between the actual bucket head and the paint on the face, but it's not a big deal. And especially at this size scale, it really doesn't matter. Now, the actual weapon that he comes with is his claw weapon, and getting it pegged into his hands is a pain. It has these 2 friction pegs that are inside there. One is right there on the bottom and the other one is at the top. And just getting it lined up and pegged into place is not exactly easy. And you got to push this arm pretty far in order for it to snap into place. And even once you do that, it's still just really difficult to get the hand jammed in here far enough for that friction clip to take place, and you need to use a lot more force than really is necessary. Now, I got that clipped in. You saw it wasn't exactly easy. And here we end up with a reasonable facsimile of this original iconic Megatron, or Beast Wars Megatron. One problem. The ball joint in the shoulder isn't damn strong enough to hold the stupid thing up. Then there's the sword, which I feel like is just a repaint of a Power of the Prime's Grimlock sword. I mean, it's fine, it's big, it's purple, but when the hell did he actually use a sword? Now, this figure does have some diecast in it. In fact, it has more diecast than I thought it would. The diecast components are the elbows on both arms, then the other component are the knees, and then finally are the heels. There are 3 points of diecast. The other point of metal in the figure is this piece right here that connects the rotors to the rest of the robot mode. That is all the diecast on the figure. Now, in this mode, he can form his flight mode, and you can fold out the rotors and turn them. So he does have his own skate flight mode, which does work. Even though it does look a little bit goofy, I still think that is a nice touch. But unfortunately, even with the niceties and the decent paint and other things going on with this figure, it is an absolute goddamn mess of a figure. Specifically, all the ball joints are screwed up, and they were incredibly tight. When I first got the figure out of the box, every single joint on here was tight to the point of me worrying it would break. That's no longer the case. One transformation loosened up the ball joints in the hips and in the arms and in the head to the point where it's noodly, like really noodly. If anybody else has this figure, does it noodle about for you? I'm gonna bet it does. The points on the figure that are still tight are the swivels. The swivels here at the upper arms that fall off every time I move them. The swivels here at the wrists that are too damn tight. And then the hinges here in the legs. Those are all fine, and the elbows are fine. But, oh, and the pin here is still fine. In fact, this is ratcheted. I don't know if you could hear that, but that is a ratchet pin, which I still don't know how they did that. But yeah, one transformation practically ruined the frickin' figure. I could barely get him to stand up now. It's insane. How did this happen? Okay, you know what? Maybe the transformation is better. Maybe the figure is better. Let's take a look at the directions. Let's pull these out. Oh, here's that other card. That's cool. Oh, all right. This is just an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper that's got directions printed on it that receive the figure, open the figure, look at the directions, read the QR code, go onto the web to see how it's transformed, and yeah, guess what? This website doesn't work. I tried it. Several other people I know who have tried it from here in the US. I even tried a VPN from China. This doesn't freaking work. QR code works with no problem. It sends you to a Bilibili page. And here are the directions. Can you make out what's going on without a magnifying glass? Because I've had multiple people look at these directions, and online. They're bad. If it weren't for the fact that the figure transforms very similarly to the original figure, I'd be up Poop Creek. What the hell? All right. This transformation is very similar to the original. To start off with, we're going to come down to the feet and kind of push the feet a little forward, and there are flaps under here that you can raise up. If you don't have any nails, it's a little bit difficult. Now, I want to talk to you about something. These panels, the first time I transformed them, I broke 2 heavy-duty plastic spudgers. I even broke a metal hunting knife. It snapped off. These were in here so tight, I had to unscrew this completely on both legs, pry the plastic apart, and wiggle this out with another knife. That's why there are scars here from the knife. And then reassemble it. I shouldn't have to do that. So anyway, flip those panels up, slide the feet forward a little bit at the shins, and then close the panels up and they will peg into place. So you get this, instead of straight down, you get this kind of tilted leg. Take the VTOL backpack and fold it down all the way, then reach behind the figure's head and push it forward, and you can pull out the dinosaur head and fold that all the way out like that. Take the arms, collapse them in at the double hinge like that, and it will fold in and peg into place. Now, one thing you need to be wary of, if you have the issue that I have, where the actual arms keep sliding off, you need to make sure they're folded or pushed all the way in. Otherwise, these arms will not go in and stay flush the way they need to, because these guys tuck in, and then you take the entire top of the figure, rotate it 180 degrees around like that. Then bring the top down, bring the dinosaur head down, and collapse the dinosaur neck a little bit so you could get that over Megatron's head. Something you need to be aware of, if you don't transform these panels before you transform into robot mode, you're going to rip the head clean off. You just will. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of clearance here, so just getting this in place does require you to kind of sandwich the head in between those neck panels. Now you have to put the head down first before you fold these panels down. Otherwise, the spine won't be able to go down because there is a little piece of plastic right here that this piece goes over top. It's not how it is in the directions. Fold this panel that's underneath the shoulder panels down, and it will sit and connect over, and then push the panel or the shoulder panel down. It will snap into place right over top this, and then snap into place in this little channel right here. If these panels fall off, don't worry, they do that. You can actually see that the paint and the plastic is already starting to come off there inside the joint. So I don't know how long this figure is going to last if I transform it too much. So we have to put it back, snap it back in place, and then fight it and to snap it into place. Do the same thing on the other side. Get it snapped in, fight it, push it up, pray to the plastic gods that you're not breaking anything, and it will snap into place eventually, and then these panels will snap together. Fold the T-Rex arms forward, grab the VTOLs, and the little pin that's there will snap into this back piece like that. And then you bring the legs down, bring the VTOLs down, and tuck them underneath the chest panels. And then there is a little wedge here that you peg the tail into. And before I continue, the tip of the tail, die-cast metal. And you just kind of sandwich that on. And in the video of their own video, the person doing the transformation yanks this thing off with full force. You don't need to do that. You just wiggle it back and forth and it will come off on its own. And there we have a little purple Tyrannosaurus Rex. Yup, little, purple, expensive. I like the T-Rex mode. I think the T-Rex mode looks pretty darn good. The segmented tail works well, though it's just as segmented as the original figure, so it does move side to side a little bit, and it does move up and down a little bit. Not a whole ton, but just enough. The proportions work well, and the size is okay. For a $50 figure, I was kind of hoping it would be a little bit bigger in this mode. It's not huge, but it's fine. So, I mean, we're talking about the smallest figures in both Studio Series and Earthrise. It's roughly the same size as that. Unfortunately, it's not quite big enough for Cliffjumper to ride him well. In this mode, he has the same party gimmicks as the original figure. Fold up the feet to give him some skates, and then you can flip out the VTOL engines and turn them. And the VTOL engines do spin, but not very well. So if you blow on them, they're not going to actually spin. Oh, and the mouth does open, and there is this nice pink painted tongue inside, which, let's face it, that's pretty funny. Okay, it's not pink. It's actually the same color as the rest of his body. It just, against the purple, it looks pink. So I would be terrified if this thing was coming for me. I don't know if you would be, but I sure would be. I really had such high hopes for this figure. I honestly did, and I am super bummed at the level of QC issues that I have with it. And I don't know if this is just me. Some folks have pinged me on Twitter showing that their figures have had major breakage. One Twitter person had the fists just snap off completely. Another person's unfortunately arrived damaged. So yeah, I'm going to have to say, folks, this is a hard pass. I would not pick up this figure. And now it's stuck, and I don't want to try and force it. Oh, gods. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, man. Whew. Yeah, so this thing it's really a crapshoot. It really is. I just can't recommend it. I'm so bummed out. You know what? I think I'm going to send this to somebody. Oh, one thing I forgot to show is the legs. When you fold them forward, you could push them up like that for better posability. I forgot to show that to you. Sorry. I'm really bummed. I am super bummed. I was really, really looking forward to this figure, and it just doesn't deliver. In fact, it really has turned me off on anything ToyWorld for a while. I was really hoping this figure would be awesome, and it just isn't. It just isn't. Man, it hurts. It hurts me. So I know a customizer. I might send this his way to see if he can fix it. Maybe fix the joints, maybe fix the paint, maybe see what he can do to make it not such a piece of crap. All right, folks. Let me know what you think down in the comments. This is not a toy for kids. This is a toy for collectors. And really, I need to know what your opinions are on it. Let me know if you know anybody who's gotten this thing and if they've had any problems with it, because, man, this sucks. God. All right, I've been Baltmatrix. Like, comment, and subscribe. Follow my Patreon. All that crap. I'll catch you later.